Hey guys, how's it going? Let me. Can you hear me? Let me- Okay, now I can see myself. How's it going? How was the contest today, guys? Was it good? Solve 2 was stuck at C. Got still C, D got me stuck. But not the contest. I have an idea that why my solution for great. Let me also bring the problems. Uh, I personally just had the chance to face problem A before the contest, but I'm gonna in front of you solve the rest of the problems. Uh, I hope that we can get to all of the problems, but let's see. Uh, let's maybe wait a bit more so that more people can join. Let me also mention in Telegram channel in the Telegram channel as well that the live stream is started. One for me, zero for you all. Yeah, we get to them. We get to them. Guys, did you also have a chance to work with our editor so far? Our compiler, actually. Let me bring the problems on my laptop. Okay. So if you guys are ready, we can start talking about the problems. I feel like people have joined as well, and maybe we are ready. Shall we start? Let me also. Okay, so then let's start. Awesome, let's go. Okay, so the first problem. Um, the first problem is says that consider an n by n grid filled by numbers as follows. The first row contains integers from 1 to n from left to right. The second row from n plus 1 to 2n, and so on. So we have from 1 to n squared. And the cost of a cell is its value plus the sum of its neighboring cells values. Two cells are considered neighboring if they share a site. Your task is to calculate the maximum sum among all cells in the grid. T is up to 100, N is up to 100 as well. So this problem is actually as simple as you might know, a simple brute force. And that's it. I mean, we can just go over all of the cells and then see that what is the best answer for all of them. If you want, I can maybe implement it as well, because maybe implementation for it would be the fastest way. And I'm also ambitious of using our own editor. So we can just simply say that we have int of t and n, and you can just say sin t while t minus minus sin n, and then you can go over all of the cells. I mean, there are better ways too, but there's no reason for that. I mean, we can go over all of cells. For example, I'm on row number I, cell number j. I mean, column number j, for example. And then I can easily find out that at each cell, what is the number. For example, I can have maybe one way to do it very simply is to have a function f that it gets I and j, and it returns the number that is at cell I and j, which is going to be return I times n plus j plus 1. Then I should start from 0 to n minus 1. And then sum would be similar, very simply this, f of I and j, if I sum plus equal to f of I minus 1 and j, if I less than n minus 1, sum plus equal to f of I plus 1 and j, if j sum plus equal to f of I and j minus 1, if j less than n minus 1, sum plus equal to f of I and j plus 1. And int of ans is going to be the maximum of all of them. Ans equal to maximum of ans and sum. And that's all. C out ans. And this way, simply, the answer can be calculated. Right? What is repo You don't know repo yet. That's bad. I will let you know. So we can just do it like this and then run on samples. It was correct, and then simply submit. Do you like our compiler or not? Does this workflow look good or not? How you feel about it? We are in queue. Okay, I accept it. So that's all. I blocked the view. Great, great. Awesome. Yeah, I blocked the end. That's just cout ants. That's not anything important in here. Just cout ants. And more features like increasing font size, tab size. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Maybe I add command and plus and minus, or control and plus and minus, to be to increase or decrease the font. Guys, if you had any suggestions for any changes in the compiler and anywhere else, we also have these boot camps. I'm gonna have the votes for the next boot camp very soon. And as you might already know, Sunday is gonna be our contest. And our judge is there as well. And I don't know if you've seen it or not, but in our judge, I add the integration for the compiler as well. So I have not updated the website. It's on my local, so you haven't seen it. And guys, in roadmaps, I've added this new focus mode as well. That's, I think, would be really helpful. For example, let me open this. I mean, we have this focus mode now that you can just simply read roadmaps. I mean, I'm gonna get back to them later on. Let's for now focus on the problems. So is the first problem okay or not? If it's completely fine, please put a plus or use the 100 emoji. Isn't that always the max of seconds? Last column. I believe that, yeah. I mean, I believe that we can also say that the answer should be at always one of the last 4 cells, I believe. So we can also probably say that it's always one of these 4. So let me definitely, yeah. I mean, the answer should be one of the last 4 cells as well, because Otherwise, you could choose something to the right or to the bottom that is better. So actually, yes. I mean, that's also an interesting thing to say. We can also say that it's one of these cells. If we start from n minus 2, that would be right as well. So I think that should get accepted too. Yeah, that's also true. You get back to this when it's judged. And for all n greater than or equal to 5, it's always n minus 1, n minus 2. Yeah, I mean, that would be a bit hard to implement. But yeah, this got accepted. We can also say that, okay, it's always maximum of 4 numbers. Okay, so shall we move on to problem B? If we will last n3, yeah, last 2 by 2 would be enough. What was, okay. Is there any Google Chrome extension repo? Yes, I mean, I just implemented this extension just 2 days ago, and I submitted it to Google Chrome extension. It's not out there yet. It should be approved, but I've uploaded the zip in my Telegram channel. So if you join the Telegram channel, you can download the zip, and in developer mode, you can run that. I have it. Maybe I can show you on the Telegram channel. Let me. So let me bring it. Uh, so it's like this. In developer mode, you can run that. And I have explained exactly how in developer mode you can run. And then if you just download this repo extension.zip, you can use it yourself. But when it's approved, it takes a few days for Chrome to approve it. Then everyone can download it instead of running on developer mode. Just as I am people. Yeah, I should tell you about something as well. I had an idea for contest as well that I said that in the Telegram channel too. I mean, this was my question here. I should see that what is your idea about this idea. I should ask about it from you as well. What is that zip file? With that zip file, you can add the extension yourself in developer mode. So it when it's not out there, you can run it yourself locally on developer mode. So let's move on to problem B. I get back to it. I know that many of you are waiting for problem B, so let's not keep you waited more than this. Problem B. It says that you start with an integer array A, which initially consists of n zeros. You have to perform the following action exactly n times. Choose two integers L and R and assign A of I equal to A of I plus 1 for each I such that I from L to R. So you can choose an integer L and R and increase each of them by 1, and you are given an array B consisting of n integer. Your task is to choose such values L and R for each action that after all n actions are performed, it's possible to reorder the elements in such a way that A becomes equal to B, and the maximum value of R minus L plus 1 over all actions is as large as possible. What's the maximum possible value of R minus L plus 1? So this is a problem that I'm facing right now, and I'm gonna solve it in front of you so that you can see my thinking process completely as well. So, guys, the first thing when I face such a problem, the first thing that comes to my mind when I see that we want to maximize this R minus L plus 1, the maximum value of R minus L plus 1 over all actions should be as large as possible. Well, first of all, the first thing comes to my mind is that, okay, a lot of time you should be able to make it n. Because a lot of time we can have at least one operation of n and then try to fill the rest. So what I think we can do is that probably it's best to sort the numbers. Since we can reorder also, since we can reorder, I believe it gives me the intuition that it's the best to source them at the beginning. So for example, assume that we have 0, 0, 1, 1, and 5. And this way, each time you can increase a suffix. If you can. I mean, for example, maybe in this last case, you cannot each time increase a suffix. You have to have these separately. Because the arrays, I mean, those L and R's should really be arranged that is non-empty. Okay, so the idea that comes to my mind is this. First of all, it's always possible to do this. I mean, make it BIs equal to BIs because BIs are from are up to n, and the point is that only if we have zeros at the beginning, they cannot be in any range. So we would put zeros aside first of all, and then I think for each AI that is less than I, we cannot have a prefix starting from all the previous ones. So what do I mean? Maybe it's better if I think about when the answer is not n. So if you consider the whole thing, when we cannot have something that is n, I mean, when we cannot have answer that is something that is n, I think there are two cases. First of all, after if we choose a array, I mean, when you choose the whole thing, if afterwards the sum of all the numbers is less than n minus 1, then we cannot do the rest. If the sum of the remaining numbers is less than n minus 1, then we cannot do the rest. And that's it. I think that's the only situation. That the sum of the rest of them is less than n minus 1. If the sum of the rest are at least n minus 1, we can have at least n minus 1 other operations. So what we can say, I think, is this. We can see that what is the total sum of the numbers, and we can see that how many zeros we have at the beginning. We show them with z. First of all, the answer is at most n minus z. And second, the answer will be at most some minus n minus 1 as well. Because after the first operation, the sum of the remaining parts should be at least n minus 1. So the length of the first operation that we do, that we try to maximize it, cannot be more, so that the sum will not be, the sum of the remaining part will not be less than n minus 1. So my intuition, I'm not sure, I have not implemented it and I have not accepted this problem before. But when I face this problem, my intuition is that the answer is this. Do you agree with this or not? If you have accepted the problem, is that right or not? That's the same solution as me. Great. It won't work. It will work. I had this solution. I got did same. Okay. Okay, so the solution is correct. And I will tell you about why as well. Let me repeat here. Let me repeat from the beginning. So what I'm saying is that, guys, after the first operation, I mean, first of all, the order of operations do not matter, right? So we can do it in any order. So I try to maximize the length of my first action. I will put my action, my move, that has the maximum length to be the first move. Because the order does not matter. We can just, I mean, the move that is going to have the maximum length, we can have it at first. Do you agree with that so far? If you agree, please put a plus or use that 100 emoji. I'm not sure I can see your emojis in here. I mean, unfortunately, The extension is on this Google account, but my YouTube is on the other one. So maybe I should open YouTube in this tab. So the first thing, guys, I'm saying is that the order of movements do not matter. So it doesn't matter that in which order we are just going to choose our actions. That does not matter. So therefore, I can say that my first movement is going to be the movement that has the maximum length. That's one of the things that we can just simply say. No, not this. For example, if the sum is n plus 1, the answer cannot be more than 2. I'm going to tell you why. Let me close it from here. So, yes, we can reorder later. So, also operations. The order of operations does not matter. If I first, for example, choose these two, and then choose this one, or I first choose this one and then these two, for example, then the final value is the same. Both of them, this will be added once, this will be added twice. So the order of them does not matter first. So I can say that my maximum length is going to be my first operation. I can say that the first operation that I'm going to have is going to be the one that has the maximum length. I also say that let's sort these numbers because everything is simpler when we sort the numbers in BI. As long as, instead of trying to create these, I will try to create this 0, 0, 1, 1, 5, and then at the end I will reorder it to this. Okay. So first, also sort them as well. Let's have them in a sorted way and solve it for the one in a sorted way. If we solve it for that, we can just easily at the end reorder it and have this array as well. Then I say, after my first operation that I want it to have the maximum possible length, there are two conditions. First of all, I might have several zeros at the beginning. My initial operation cannot have those zeros. So the length of it is going to be at most, if I have z zeros, it's going to have at most n minus, it's going to have length at most n minus z. Okay, do you agree with that? So the answer cannot be greater than n minus c. Right? So first of all, the answer cannot be greater than n minus c. If you agree with that, please put plus or use this emoji. So that's the first word. Yeah, great. Second, I say that the rest of the array that remains, its sum cannot be less than n minus 1. Because otherwise, I cannot have n minus 1 other operations. So the array that remains after the first operation, its sum cannot be less than n minus 1. Because if it is, then I cannot have n minus 1 other operations. Because those other operations, each one of them has at least one element. And if it's going to have one element, it's going to increase the sum at least by 1. If the sum that remains is less than n minus 1, that's a contradiction. It's not possible. Okay, I hope that you have not lost my voice. Let me see if I hear myself. So first, also, then I cannot have n minus 1 other operations because, okay, yeah. So the second condition that we have, for example, if in the second case, you see that sum is equal to 5. Let me show it on this example. We have 5 ones and the sum is 5. So the first operation cannot have length more than 1. Because if it has length more than 1, then we're going to be left with 4 other operations. But the sum of the rest is less than 4. So we cannot have 4 other operations. So the length cannot be more than 1 actually. So what do I say? I say that the answer is also at most sum minus n minus 1. On the other hand. So our answer is at most also sum minus n minus 1. Why? Because if we decrease more than this, what remains is going to be less than n minus 1. And when it is less than n minus 1, then n minus 1 operations cannot be done. So the answer is simply the number of zeros and sum. Calculate these two. And at the end, output minimum of n minus c and sum minus n minus 1. And that's going to be all. If you agree with it, please put a plus or use this emoji. Cannot understand sum less than n minus 1. Well, in the remaining parts, if the sum is less than n minus 1, you cannot have n minus 1 operations after the first operation, right? After the first, you have to have n operations. So after the first operation, you need to have n minus 1 other operations as well. Do you agree that each of them will increase the total sum of your array by at least 1? Because it at least increases one thing. So if the sum of the array you have afterwards is going to be less than n minus 1, I mean, if you just remove the effect that this first one has, then the rest cannot be in any way possible to make it in a way that the rest can be made in other n minus 1 operations. So is it completely clear? If it's completely clear, maybe let me implement it as well. I would never, I mean, in the previous solutions discussions, as you know, I was not implementing things much, but now because we have these editors, I'm really passionate about implementing things actually. So let me implement it very fast. We have int of t and n, so sin t while t minus minus sin n. I do not even need to keep the array. I mean, I can just simply say for int of I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. I can have int of z equal to 0, sum equal to 0. Let me see if it can be long. It can be long. So long of sum equal to 0. And then int x, I do not keep the array as well. I just keep a temporary number x. If x was 0, z plus plus, sum plus equal to x, cout minimum of n minus z, and I think I should say long of n minus z, because the other part sum is gonna be a long, and sum minus n minus 1. So at the end, the answer should be this. Let me submit. Yeah. So that's going to be all about problem B. Is it clear completely? So sum minus equal to n minus c, then sum. No. At the end, I say that the answer is minimum of n minus c and sum minus n minus 1. Why? Because we have two conditions. First, the answer cannot be more than n minus c. Right? The answer cannot be more than n minus c. Second, the answer cannot be greater than sum minus n minus 1. So that's just simply the minimum of these two. I don't even, but yeah, binary search is an overkill. Cannot understand sum minus n minus 1. I will explain it again. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm well. Why is it trying to just first take index of first non-zero as L and then take R as index of the largest? As largest that is greater than it. Don't think, I'm not sure that's right. Any tips for a beginner in CP? Definitely, without any doubt, use our roadmaps. That's exactly for you guys. I mean, at least the plan is to make something that is awesome. And to you, only the visible ones should be visible. So definitely use our roadmaps and let us know about how we can make it better. We plan to make something really, really amazing. So let us know how can we make it even better. It's based on the fact that you will pick the largest range in the, yes, exactly. It's based on the fact that I will pick the largest range in the first step. Let me quickly explain that sum minus n minus 1 as well. All I'm saying, guys, is that you have some sum. The length of whatever the length of your range is, your sum, the sum of your array will be increased by that because each of these will be increased by 1, right? We know that the rest of the n minus 1 operations, at least each of them are going to increase the total sum of the array by 1. So if the first one is greater than sum minus n minus 1, then there's no way that at the end the sum of these numbers will be sum. The sum of these numbers at the end definitely will be greater than sum, which is a contradiction. It means that it will not be the array that we want. So because other than the first operation, we have n minus 1 other operations, and each of them increase the total sum by at least 1, if the first one is greater than sum minus n minus 1, the total sum is going to be greater than sum. So that's not possible that we get the final answer that we want. So the answer is going to be minimum of n minus 3 and sum minus n minus 1. That's it. Is it clear now? Or not? If it's clear this time, please put the plus or use this emoji. If it is not, let me know. Sarah, I'm not sure that you said it before I explained it this time or after. So if it's not clear, definitely let me know. Okay, awesome. Awesome. And guys, let me tell you something. Uh I want to start live streams on Instagram as well. And we need your support because I realized that we need at least 1,000 followers on Instagram to start the live stream. I mean, the Repo Wife channel needs at least 1,000 followers. Right now, we are at 140. So please, if you can, follow us there and share it with others too so that they follow us there so that we can reach to this 1,000 and we can start the live streams there. I'm definitely sure that it's going to be awesome for all of you guys. But we need to, I mean, I'm personally very passionate about starting it as soon as possible. So I hope that you can help us get there as soon as possible so that we can start these live streams on Instagram as well. This is another type of live streams other than these ones that we have on YouTube. And I have other educational purposes that would be more fit for that. So it's going to be a complement to these ones on YouTube. So please, if you can, follow us on there too. It has its own purposes. I mean, there are some things that are better for YouTube, for example, like solution discussions, etc. But some things, for example, like Q and A's, etc., it's better to be with phone. And I believe that it will increase the quality of the live streams for that. I mean, we're gonna have some Q and A sessions and maybe talking about your cases. You can tell me about your accounts on Codeforces anywhere and anything that I can say personalized to you. For that, YouTube is not the best. I believe that those are gonna be better on Instagram. And they're gonna be shorter compared to the ones that we're gonna have on Instagram. For example, maybe half an hour each. Please send updates also in Discord, not only Telegram. Okay, sure. That's a very good suggestion. Sure. Okay, so guys, if you're completely okay with everything, I can move on to the next problem. The upcoming contests are becoming harder and harder, by the way. Yeah. How was today contest, Parth, by the way? How did your rating change? Shall we move on to problem C? Or shall we keep you waited for more than this? Awesome. Let's move on to problem C now. I've not read problem C before, so let's read it now. It says that you are given two arrays Q1 to Qn and R1 and to Rn as well as an integer K. You can perform the following operation any number of times, possibly zero. Uh, so you have two arrays and integer K. Choose two integers X and Y such that Y less than X less than equal to K. There exists an index I such that Q of I equal to X over I. There exists such index J such that R of J equal to X. Remove Qi from array Q and R of J from array R. If there are multiple of them, only one occurrence is removed. Calculate the maximum number of operations that you can perform on the given arrays Q and R. So so you have to kind of find a matching between Q's and R's such that for some X and Y's, for example, for some X and Y, X will be equal to, for example, Q of I times Y plus R of Y, R sub I. Calculate the maximum number of, you should find the maximum matching. R plus R of J. So when I face this problem, the first thing that comes to my mind is that why not all? That's a very good question to ask, because when it's asked why not all, you will see the samples and you see when it's not all, and it gives you some intuition about okay, what is the blocker. So for example, in the first case, you have 1 and 27. Okay, for example, for this one, you can have 28 as y, and 2 times 28 minus 1, 55 as, for example, 51 and 28 can be one thing that we can simply make. Why in the second one, we can have 0. In the second, it's possible in operation as suitable x and y cannot be found. Okay, and y should be less than x. So q of I should be at least 1. That's it. So let's see that y is not possible. Okay. Okay, the blocker is that x is less than or equal to k. I did not see that. Otherwise, easily everything could be done. Okay. So the answer to why not all is that this k limits it. So for example, in here, it can be at least 10. And x and y's do not need to be different. Okay. And guys, the point is that y should definitely be greater than r of j. Otherwise, the remainder wouldn't be r sub j. So the first thing, the first condition that we have is that y should be greater than r sub j. Do you guys agree with that completely? The remainder always should be less than the denominator. How you get RepoWeb extension? You can, I submitted on Google Marketplace, but it will be approved after a few days. They are too slow, unlike us. But because people asked on Telegram channel to put the zip there so that they can use it themselves, on developer mode, you can just download it from the Telegram channel. And then in developer mode, you can run that. And I explained how in developer mode we can use that. Maybe let me send you the link of the Telegram channel as well, if you wanted to join. Is it available in Firefox? No, for now it's just extension in Chrome, but I'm thinking of making it open source so that you guys, if you want, you can contribute to that as well. So you can, for example, add one for Firefox as well if you want this server. What to do when you are in a problem like this? We will talk about that. So, do you agree with that part that y should be greater than r? Is it completely clear? If it's clear, please use this emoji or put a plus. So, the first thing is that y should be greater than r sub j. I have a idea that I shared on Telegram as well yesterday, and I asked for your opinion, that I believe can be helpful, can be a good idea, but I should see what you guys say. Let me see your comments. I mean, I think you have new comments as well. Okay, reports. And guys, that's very good. I mean, if any bug, you find any bug in the anything, definitely let us know. I mean, the reports that you give for the bugs are super, super helpful, and we can fix it very quickly. Because they can't use, but okay. So I will talk about that. But okay, let's first finalize the solution to problem C. But I will tell after that. I will tell you about the idea that we have for our contest, so that there won't be any cheating on the contest. And I mean, it's not impossible, but it would be way harder. But let's first talk. I mean, finalize the solution to this problem C. Y should be greater than R sub j. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that y does not need to be any larger than that. I mean, I can just simply make y equal to r sub j plus 1. Why? Because it's the minimum that it should be. I mean, for each r, I can just set r sub y equal to r sub j plus 1. Because the least it will be, x will be the least as well. X will be just afterwards. X, uh, we know that x is q of I times y plus r sub j. It would be q of I times r sub j plus 1, which is y, plus r sub j. This way I make them, I mean, if I match some q and r, x and y will be uniquely determined. And this way they will be the minimum possible. So because I want them to be less than or equal to k, it's the best way to choose them. They will be minimum possible this way, right? So, I mean, that's first. The first thing that comes to my mind when I face a problem like this, when I face a problem like this, is that let's set x and y like this. Is it clear completely? If it's clear, please again put a plus or use this emoji. And let me finalize the solution to this problem. Then we will talk about the other things. I know that many of you want to hear the solution, so I don't want to go sideways. Okay. So that's what we get for this. And now I say that based on this, I mean, if you consider the final answer that we have, it's definitely gonna have a prefix of q's and a prefix of r's. For example, if at the end we're gonna have k operations, I mean, we're gonna choose the minimum k r's and the minimum k q's, and we somehow match them with each other. Because this way, if we match them this way with each other, then they will have the minimum x and y's. All q and r's can be matched with each other, but the point is that the smaller they are, the smaller x and y will be. Because we know the formula for both x and y. So at the end, I say that my argument is that it's optimal to choose a prefix of r's and a prefix of q's. I mean, if there is a solution to solve with k, there's also a solution that we have a prefix of r's and a prefix of q's. I mean, at the end, I'm not necessarily force both of them to be prefixed, but I just want you to get the intuition first. That's we can have both of them prefixed, right? Yeah, exactly. We want to reach prefix 2-pointer now. So I say that, I mean, both about Q and R, we can say that. We can say that we can just have a prefix of them because the formula is fixed. And If you choose the minimum numbers, then it's going to be definitely better for you. Now I say that let's start from the minimum r's and go forward. Start with the minimum r. And start another pointer that goes from the end and goes backward on q's. So these are the q's, these are the r's. For each r, I first start with my second pointer, or r, to be 1. I'm explaining in 1 base, but I mean in implementation, it's better to implement it in 0 base index. P1 to n. If you can match these two, what do I mean by matching these two? We know the formula for x and y. We calculate them. We should make sure that x is less than k. And since x is greater than y is less than k, less than or equal to k as well. So we should just make sure that qi times r of j plus 1 plus r of j will be less than k. This is also equal to q of I plus 1 times r of j plus 1 minus 1, if I'm not wrong. This should be less than or equal to k. If it was right, then these two can match. Otherwise, these two cannot match. If they could not match, because I'm going to use the prefix of r, I'm not going to give up on this r. I'm going to test this r with the next q, and then with the next q, and then with the next q. With the first one that I can match it, I will match it and then go to the next r. This way, I can match the first r with the maximum possible q. I know that the minimum, if my answer is at least 1, I'm going to use the minimum r. And the optimal for me is to use it with the maximum possible q. Why? Because then the maximum possible q is used and the smaller ones will be left for the next r's that they can use it. I leave them, if I choose the match of r to be the maximum possible, well, anyway, I get one correct operation. But if my match is maximum possible, the smaller numbers will remain for the rest, and I have more chance to create more numbers later on. So this part is the greedy. So actually, the solution is 2-pointer plus greedy. I will start from the first R, and I use another pointer starting from the end. Go back, and I will try to match them with each other. At the end, I will see that what is my answer, how many I could match. Is it clear? Can you please tell solution of E before D? If you want, if most of you guys want that, yeah, we can do that. But is it this one clear first? If this is clear, please put a plus or use this emoji. So it's a simple greedy plus 2-pointer. What is the difficulty, the rating of it? I would say that the rating would be around 1500 maybe. What do you guys think? I think my opinion is like around 1500 or so. Actually, as long as we pick the largest Q, we can go from big R to small. Yes. Yeah. As long as we match it with the greatest one, yeah. 1400, yeah. That's also good. Yeah, that's right. We can go from largest to smallest as well. Each time try to match it with the greatest number. Yes, that's right. That's also it. Okay. So let's move on to the next problem. Shall we move on to the problem D or problem E? Why taking both pointer at the starting word rank? Because this way you will match the minimum R with the minimum Q. That's not a good choice. Because maybe if you match the minimum R with the minimum Q, then the point is that by doing this, if you match minimum R with the minimum Q, uh, the issue that happens is that maybe then the rest cannot be matched with each other. But if you would match, for example, the minimum R with the second Q and the minimum Q with the second R, both of these would be good. But the second Q and second R are not good with each other. So it's the best to match the minimum R with the maximum Q possible and leave the smaller values for the next R's that are going to be bigger. They say it would be easier for you. Is it clear? E, E first. Okay, so I see that most of you guys are talking about it. And guys, let me ask you a question in here as well. Uh, please explain again. Guys, the whole point, let me quickly explain it again. And we have one word for D. The rest of you tell me about your idea as well. So the whole idea, guys, is that we will sort R's, we will sort Q's, and we will see that uh, how do we want to match these R's and Q's? The point is that we start from the smaller R and we can say that, okay, if I'm going to match it with something, it's the best to match it with the maximum possible Q, right? It's the best to match it with maximum possible Q so that you use that maximum possible Q and you remove these two. And then you will go to the next one and the next one and the next one. So the point is that you try to match it with the maximum number so that for the rest you will keep, I mean, assume that I want to have this R in my answer. What is the best outcome for me to have it in my answer? The best outcome for me is to have it with the maximum possible Q. Why? Because this way I can leave the smaller Qs intact for the future Rs, which is gonna be very good for me, right? So that's okay. I see that the votes for E is more. Okay. And guys, let me ask you a question. About posts on Codeforces that I put the solution discussions. Do you think it's good to add them or not? I mean, do you believe that it's not good? Because there's something really, really weird happening in the posts. There's a guy that I know. I mean, there's a guy that I'm actually probably, I mean, he probably is watching this live stream right now as well. I don't know what is wrong with him. He's a guy from Romania that a lot of you have talked with me about him, like saying that, yeah, he's doing this, he's doing that. And he's just, I don't know why. I mean, whenever I post, he decides to, I mean, my post starts with some initial upvotes, and then he starts with a million fake accounts and just downvotes all the posts for some reason. That's, I don't know why. And most of the times you guys in the comments see that's why say that why this has so many downvotes, etc. That I upvoted you. Anyway. So I don't know why it's happening. I mean, I don't know why this guy's, I know the guy. I rather not mention his name here. But I'm actually thinking that maybe this makes Codeforces very toxic, and I'm thinking of probably talking to Mike about doing something about it. I mean, I have a long chat with Mike on Telegram. And also, probably if it continues, I'm thinking that maybe I should write a post about him on Codeforces and see that what is going on. I mean, why so? I mean, because very on Codeforces around 2 years ago, when someone wrote a post about me, which was again this guy with a fake account, wrote a post about me. And I was like, why? I mean, I don't know if you remember that or not. Maybe the ones of you who are older know that. So anyway, actually, I know that anyway, regardless of how many fake accounts he has, definitely we have more people, etc. So if you by any chance get help from the posts or the live streams or anything, I would appreciate that you upvote the post so that at least we cancel this effect, because it gives a very bad vibe to get this. I mean, it's still my contribution is a lot. I mean, before this guy started, I had many posts, etc. And it's just, it gives a very bad vibe about the uh, posts that we write. I mean, we put so much energy, etc., to solve the problem, etc. And this guy tries to just use so many fake accounts to do that. So if you get help from it really, and you believe that these live streams and posts are helping you, etc., and you really want to support, I would appreciate that if you really get help, you show your support with outputs as well, so that's we can cancel his effects first until I find out what is wrong with him, and maybe I mean find that out. Maybe, I mean, I didn't have the chance to write on Codeforces, but I mean this is bad that CF gets toxic, because it's not just me too. I mean there are some other guys as well that when they post they say that yeah, this guy is doing this to us as well. I mean, I heard that from you guys on Discord, etc., that you messaged me that this guy is doing this. So it's not good that we have a, I mean, in CF we have a toxic community. So you should see that what is going wrong and probably write a post about it and see that's okay. I mean, if there's any issue, just mention that publicly instead of doing these things. Yeah, I mean, I'm the first time that I find the time, and you know, guys, I talked about it once before when you guys were talking about cheating, etc. There are some guys who are doing valuable works, like me, like you are hearing the solution discussion now. It means that you want to learn. But there are also some people who just in the contest cheats. They just copy and paste the code and just maybe they get even better ranking than you. But the point is that at the end, who does win? You will win at the end who done the valuable work and learn something and grow, or those guys who are cheating. At the same time, here we are making valuable work. We are trying to go up and create something amazing for everyone. But there are some people who their life is defined in doing these things, in cheating, and just, I don't know what is their purpose in life, why they are here in the world, what's valuable they do. I mean, why they're like this. I mean, it's just, I believe it's a waste of time and waste of resources, waste of energy. So, yeah. Yeah, I think I should take the accountability and write about this guy and see that, I mean, at least give him a chance to defend himself. I mean, say that, yeah, I did that because of this, and this. So, yeah, I mean, definitely when I find the time, I will write about him. Sure, I will answer your question. But anyway, the thing that I wanted to say is that if you were really getting help about the post, just if you really were getting help, I would appreciate it if you show that, so that at least to show this guy that doing these things doesn't give you any results, and it is not gonna go you anywhere. Is it possible to achieve IOI goal within 30 months dedicated preparation from you? Yes, I mean, for example, I was from Iran myself, and in Iran, I mean, before IOI, people had around that much preparation before IOI. So yes, definitely is, but you should really be serious and passionate and try to really spend time and just if you are serious, it's possible. But definitely you should go up step by step. First of all, start with easier problems and step by step. I mean, first your goal should be to get to pupil, and then to specialist, then expert, and step by step go up. Our first bootcamp, guys, was on under experts rating level up. I don't know if you guys who participated in that, tell me about it. If your rating really did level up or not. I mean, all the videos of that bootcamp are in here. Uh, all the videos are still here, all the 6 videos. I think I should have someone who creates better thumbnails as well. I mean, this is very lazy uh, Canva labels, Canva thumbnails. But anyway, yeah. So let me know if you participate in that. Let me know how your rating did level up or did not level up. Thank you very much, Minute. Yeah, I mean the point is that that would actually also stop other people to get to know the live streams and everything and use what you are doing. Or maybe it will decrease my motivation to post, which is I know, which is exactly what this guy wants, but I don't know why. I mean, okay, what value for you it has? What value for the world it has? So yeah, it's just I try not to judge him, but it's just weird. I especially Arish, awesome. Awesome. That's very good. That's very good. I mean, that was our purpose. I mean, my purpose. I hope that the rest of you had the same situation. I same, bro. I'm also grinding for II gold. That's awesome. That's awesome. So definitely, yeah. I mean, and guys, let me know what you want the next bootcamp to be about. I mean, we have to postpone. I mean, I had to postpone central decomposition bootcamp last session for several times. I'm sorry for that if you were waiting for that. Uh, we're gonna have the last session of central decomposition, and then we're gonna have our next bootcamp. Definitely let me know about what you want to be the next uh, bootcamp. So I know that you are waiting for problem E. So without wasting more time, I think it's the best if we go to problem E. Shall we? It's been 4 months for me. I'm struggling very hard, but I'm trying. Great. Can you suggest any book for learning DP? I don't know if there are any books to learn DP, but if the roadmaps help, these are the roadmaps and it's taking a lot of time and energy to prepare these roadmaps. If you want to have something good quality, I mean, they are not complete yet. If you want to have something with quality, it will take you a lot of energy because at the end there will be some, you should revise them like 5, 6 times. I mean, 5, 6 times you should go and revise them. Definitely, I mean, for example, for this dynamic programming roadmap that we have, we're adding more to it. So I think it's in a good situation, but I mean, it's almost finalized. But I'm thinking of adding more sections to it, similar to how we have sections for graph theory. You can take a look at this dynamic programming roadmap. It might be helpful for you. But about if you really want to read books, I mean, physical books about it, I don't think there's any. I mean, there are books like CLRS, but it's not the best way to learn it from books. Generally harder than the previous. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about the idea that I have for stopping cheating on RepoBuff contests. I will tell you after problem E, so that we can talk about them too. Okay, if you want, I will write about it for you in roadmaps. If you want, uh, we already have it actually in number two in combinatorics. I mean, we have talked about Fermat's leaders over. But if you want, I will talk in more detail about it. I mean, a lot of these things we already have. The first time that I find time, I try to completely finalize the roadmaps. I mean, finalize them completely. It's really hard, but I mean, the first time that I have, I will do. Sure, sure thing. On CP handbook. I don't feel that much good about handbooks. I never used handbooks. Yeah, yeah, I understood. We will talk about this. I mean, I will share another idea that maybe it helps to have less cheaters. Let me move on to the next problem on Codeforces. Problem E. As you wanted, we first talk about problem E before problem D. So let's see that what it does it say. Define a block in a binary string as a continuous substring of characters of same type that cannot be extended either to the left or right. For example, this has 3 blocks. The substring from the 7th character to 9th character. 111 is not a block because it can be extended to the left. The substring from the 1st character to the 5th character is not okay. We call a string beautiful if we can remove exactly 1 block from it so that the resulting string consists of an odd number of blocks. Okay. For example, the string is beautiful because you can remove the block from the 3rd to the 5th character. And we're gonna have 1 block. This is beautiful because we can remove the 1st character. Yeah, is not beautiful. Okay, I think that based on what I realized so far, a string is beautiful if and only if it has more than 1 block. If it has 1 block, there's no way because it will be empty. But otherwise, if it has odd number of blocks, we can remove one of the middle ones and it will be decreased by 2. If it has even number of blocks, we can remove the first one, for example, and then it will be decreased by 1. So if I didn't misread something, it's beautiful if and only if it has at least 2 blocks. You are given an integer n and m constraints the if of which and m constraints the if of which is described by a pair of integers li and ri. We denote the substring of the string s from character l to character r inclusive as s of l to r. Your task is to count the number of binary strings s of length n meeting the following condition. For each I from 1 to m, the substring li to s of r is beautiful. Binary strings s of length n. Okay. So li's and ri's are given to you, and basically you have to count that how many binary strings do you have such that in this range we will have both 0 and 1. Because the condition, a string is beautiful if it has at least 1 0 and at least 1 1. Based on what I understood. I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind after reading the problem. The string is beautiful if and only if it has at least 1 0 and at least 1 1. Because if it happens, it has at least 2 blocks. Otherwise, it will have 1 block because all of them are the same. So basically, these conditions say that from Li to Ri, they cannot be all the same. There should be at least 1 0 and 1 1. We have to count the number of strings that have this condition. Is it clear so far? I personally never learned from books. Definitely, if you don't have any better resources, yeah, books can be helpful. And it completely depends on your own characteristic as well. Some people like books better and learn better from books. Some people learn better from other things. I personally did not learn from books, and I believe that books are a bit outdated for learning. I mean, it's just things that maybe 100 years ago people were learning from. I personally uh, don't believe that it's the best way, especially because you're programmers, you know. I mean, I think that's everything you do. Even if you want to read books, you should read it on your laptop. Otherwise, it's just not it's not very like programmers. How to hack in contest. That's very simple. You can just go and click on a submission and then I mean, I can show you after talking about problem E. So guys, is it clear so far? Let's talk about problem E and yes, even ChatGPT teaches better. If it's clear, please use this emoji and put a plus in the chat. So far I'm saying that the whole condition is that in the range from L to R, in that string there should be at least one 0 and at least one 1. Yes. And this is equivalent to have at least one 0 and at least one 1. In other words, if you have at least one 0 and at least one 1, you have more than one block. But yeah, actually, yes. That's actually a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is great. So, okay. So yeah, what you said was very good. And it's gave me another idea as well. So now we know that in this range, there should be at least one change of number. I mean 0, 1 or 1, 0. Let's define another string that is calculated from our string. I mean our string is s of length n. Let's define another string t out of s that is defined like this. Its length is n minus 1. Its length is n minus 1. And the character number I in it is 1 if and only if s of I is not equal to s of I plus 1. So for each two consecutive characters in S, if they are the same, in T we put 0. If they are not the same, in T we will put 1. So T of I is actually going to be equal to S of I not equal to S of I plus 1. This is how I define T of I. It's also a binary string, but this time it's a binary string of length n minus 1. And because it's unique, T will be uniquely determined by S. And for S, there are actually two ways to define it from T. If in T we add another additional character that shows that what is S of 0 as well, I mean the first string of S, then the length of T would be N, and from T, S can be uniquely determined as well in that case. So yes, I mean, if we define it like this, it would be better. So assume that we have S and T. From S, I will create T like this. T of 0 will be equal to S of 0. And for T from 1 to n minus 1, T of I will be equal to S of I not equal to S of I minus 1. So it's like I keep the positions that we change things. Okay. Something like this. Then from T, S can be determined, and from S, T can be determined. Both of them can uniquely show each other. But if we remove this T of 0, then from S, T can be uniquely determined, but from T, we have two ways for S. Either we start from 0 or if we start from 1. I mean, the first character can be 0 or 1, but the rest will be uniquely determined because for each of the rest, we know that they will be the same as the previous one or not. Is it clear what I'm saying? Is it clear that what this T is? If it's clear, please put the plus or use this emoji. If you did not have a chance to see, you can still see it in the video. But if you watched it and did not understand, yeah, we can probably. I mean, if you had time, we can get back to it. But let's first talk about problem E. Yeah, if you want, sure, we'll get back to it. And if you want, you can watch it in here as well when I talked about problem C. Okay. Because it makes things simpler. I mean, it was based on, I think, your own idea. That's it's brought. I mean, it's basically based on what you said. I said that. Why am I saying this? Guys, assume that I have this. Maybe if I explain it this way, it would be better for you. With an example. Assume that S is like this. S is 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. I say that let's define T like this. T will be of length, let's say, n minus 1 in each position. If these two S of i's differ, I will put 1. If they do not differ, I put 0. So T will be like this: 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, and 0. This is how T is defined. Okay. So I define T like this. So why do I have this? Because it will give me when I have 0, 1, or 1, 0. Then if in a range in S, I want this range to be good, as has at least two blocks, it would be equivalent to saying that in this range, in T, we should have at least a 1. Why? Because each one means a change. Each one in T means a change in S. We should have at least a change in that range. So it means that in T, we should have at least a 1. Right? This way is way easier to look at the problem. It's like in your string, you have several ranges that each of them should have at least a 1. I mean, their sum should be positive. They should not be all 0. 0 means that no change. 0 means no change. 1 means change. Is it clear now? Can I explain problem statement again? The problem statement was that we have to count the number of the strings such that the ranges that they give us, all the ranges will be beautiful. And what is the definition of being beautiful? The definition of being beautiful is that they should have more than one block of equal numbers. Awesome, great. So now that we have this, all we have to do would be saying this. That it's like my problem turns into this. I have a string of length n minus 1, and I have several ranges that all of them should should have at least a 1. All of them cannot be 0 in this range. I mean, that's what my problem is turned. The length of S was n, the length of T was n minus 1. So we have 2 to the power of n strings like S, 2 to the power of n minus 1 strings for T. You can see that from each string S, you can uniquely determine T, but from each T, there are exactly 2 ways for calculate the S that goes to this T. Because we can both start from 0 or from 1. I mean, also this string that we reverse everything in it, this will also give us the same T. So if we count the number of T's, we will at the end multiply the answer by 2. We will count that how many good T's do we have, and then we multiply that by 2. Because for each of these T's, there are 2 string S's that they give us that T. I mean, because if an S works, the S that completely toggles all the zeros to ones and all the ones to zeros works as well. So that's why we should multiply it by 2. Okay. So that's actually what we want. No, that's not important. As I said, we just turned the problem to something else. We just said that, I mean, that says that after removing one block, it should remain odd number of blocks. But we said that that's just equivalent to having more than one block. Because if it has more than one block, if it is odd, we can remove a middle one. If it is even, we can remove the first block. Yeah, in the resulting string, yeah. After removal, it should be odd number of blocks, which we showed that it would be equivalent to having more than one block. Is everything clear so far, or is anything not clear yet? If everything is clear so far, please put a plus, or use the 100 emoji. Can you dry run on a test case to explain the question once, please? Yes, sure. Yeah. And to give me some feedback if it's clear for you so that I know that what percentage of you, how many of you understood it. Okay, great. So let me tell you once again the statement. The statement says that, forget about all these things that it says. It says that the string is beautiful if it's not all equal. That's it. The statement says that a string is good if it's not all the same. Because it basically says that, what does it say? It says that a string is beautiful if we remove one block of it, for example, like this. The remaining string will have odd number of blocks. This actually means that we should have more than one block. For example, this is beautiful, and this is beautiful. Why this is not beautiful? Why this is beautiful? Because we can remove this. Why this is beautiful? Because we can remove this. And why this is not beautiful? Because there's no way that, if we remove this block, the remaining thing will be empty. So if you have more than one block, we can remove a middle one, and the remaining thing will be odd. And if you have even number of blocks, you can remove the first block. So the whole thing is that if you give me more than one block, I can always remove one of the blocks so that odd number of blocks will be removed. And if there's only one block, I cannot do that, right? So the whole point is that if do I have more than one block or not. And having more than one block means that I should have some change somewhere, from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 0. At some point, I should have a change. And for that, I said that I will define a string T out of a string S, that it shows that if I see change in S or not. And each of these ranges shows us that, okay, this range should have at least a 1. I'm solving the problem online. So if I explain this part to you, I have not solved the problem till the end. So far, this was the intuition that I had. And I was busy explaining it. So now if it's clear, we can go over the rest of it. And then what do we do? But so far, this makes the problem so more organized. What do you mean? Till where did you understand? So far, guys, the whole thing that I said is that for each range, all the numbers in that range should not be the same. So at least one thing should change. I cannot have. The problem is asking for. It is giving us ranges from L to R, and all it asks you is that don't make it so bored that from L to R, all of them will be 0 or all of them will be 1. You should calculate the number of strings such that from L to R, all of them are not the same. They are not all 0 or all 1. Okay, that's all. Yeah. I will tell you the rest now. And for that, we define this T, and we said that, okay, T will be defined like this. That it shows us the changes. So now we should see that how many strings like T are there that have this situation, and at the end, you should multiply the answer by 2. That I will tell you why. So, okay. So now we have a string, and each interval tells us that we should have at least one there. So all of them should not be 0. That's all. The only bad way for that is all of them are 0. Then you have to count that how many such strings exist. The idea that comes to my mind is this DP that we find out that what is the first range that has issue. See, I have this string T. I have this string T. And each range, to me, it says that, okay, this range should have at least a 1. Assume that we want to count the number of bad strings. So one of them should be all 0, right? One of them should be all 0. So if we consider the first string that should be all 0, if we consider the first string, that's going to be problematic for us. And there's one other thing, guys. There's one other thing. If we have two ranges, that one of them is completely inside the other, the one that is outside is useless. So remove that. Because the one that is outside says that in here there should be at least a 1. In this one that is inside says that in here should be at least a 1. If in here there's a 1, in here there's a 1 as well. So if a range is completely inside the other one, that's useless. I mean, the one that is outside is useless. Do you agree with that? First, we remove those ones. That inside them, there's another interval. Okay? Yeah, I will talk about that. So first of all, we can remove those ones that they completely cover some other range. And then we say that there afterwards, what remains are going to be ranges like this. Our ranges are going to be like this. Our ranges are going to be like this afterwards. And what we can say is that we can find, for each one of them, we can find how many ways are there, so that till here, I mean, we can try to find out that how many ways exist, so that everything till, for example, range number I mean, now assume that I have k ranges. I will consider the ranges one by one, and I will see that how many ways are there for, so that, for example, till range number 3, all of them are good. If we just fill everything in here, everything that is related to this first group, then I can say that, let me think. There are actually two ways for the one that is going to be in that last range. Let me just see that what are the limits. It was, I think, 3 times. Yes, 3 times 10 to the 5th. We will get to these, guys. I mean, we're on problem E. I'm trying to solve the problem E online. So, what we can say is that, I mean, I should either calculate the number of ways that this new one is going to be 0. I mean, the number of bad ways. For example, the number of bad ways that this one is completely 0. I can also, for example, one thing is that I can see that if I consider only the first I characters, the first I mean, if I consider the prefix of length I, how many good ways exist for that? And then that would be simple, I think. Yeah. So I assume that dp of I is that if we only consider the first I characters and the ranges that are completely inside the first I characters, I mean, they end in the first I characters. I mean, for example, if my I is here, I will consider only the first 2 ranges, because these are the ones that are completely inside I. I mean, these 2 also have some part in it, for example, but they go outside of it as well, so they are not completely dependent on this. So it says that how many ways do we have to fulfill the first I ones, that the ones that are completely inside the first I ones are going to be fulfilled. And then, for that, we have 2 ways. Either the last one is going to be 0. then I should check that nothing starts from here. If anything starts from here, there's no way that is 0. I mean, if anything starts from here and uh, if anything starts from here, it's not possible for it to be. Okay, I should consider that if, I mean, there are two ways. I mean, I should consider the last one to be 0 or 1. And based on both of that, I mean, my way of thinking is that based on both of that, I mean, you should make it a bit more precise. Based on both of that, you can update them from the previous ones and see that's what's okay, the next one should be. And based on the previous DPs, you can calculate these values. So at the end, because you want each of these ranges to have at least one, right? So the whole thing that you can just see is that, okay, assume that I want these ones to have this situation that I want. I mean, for example, up to here, I think I want everything. For example, assume that I want this one to be the first one that is unfulfilled. All of these should be 0. All of this should be 0. So the previous ones should be fulfilled. And if I want the previous ones to be fulfilled, maybe it's actually better for us to calculate our DP based on considering the ones that are half in as well. I mean, these ones that are half in, we consider them as well to be fulfilled too. Yeah, that would be, I think, better. And then there are two cases. If there's a interval that starts from this one, then this cannot be 0. Because it is unfulfilled yet, we have not fulfilled it. And if I put it this 0, this would remain unfulfilled. But I should fulfill it. I mean, this is my last chance to fulfill it. If nothing starts from here, I can put 0 and I update it from dp of I minus 1. So dp of I updates from dp of I minus 1 if the last character is 0. And if this one is 1, I can say that all the ranges that have this one, I mean that cover this one, will be fulfilled now. So I should consider the leftmost range that has this and update our DP from that DP that I have here, for example, J, times 2 to the power of the ones that are here. And I think here, it's very simply, our DP can be calculated. This is a circle, not 0. This say very easily our DP will be calculated, and from that, I mean, I can easily find out my the number of bad ways, for example. I can say that, okay, this is, for example, the number, the first one that is going to be all 0. The previous ones are going to have DP of that I base. The ones after, these ones that are inside are going to be all 0. The ones that are afterwards are going to be 2 to the power of the number of them. I hope that I made it clear what it is. So, is it clear? Does it make sense what I said? I know that it might be a bit hard to understand in the first sight. So let me know if it's clear or not. Also, if it's not clear, put a minus. I think it's the best, maybe if you see another solution from it as well. Maybe there's an easier solution. Awesome. Awesome. I did not expect that to be that clear in the first time. Awesome. So let me show you the codes of other people as well very quickly. Maybe there's also a better way. So his solution is very small. That's good. I like it. He also does the same thing, it seems. For each R, he tries to find out the maximum L. I mean, that's basically for removing those additional ranges. The maximum L that from that L to here, there should be at least one. And then each time he will see that where should be the last one, and S and plus equal to S. Sn plus dp of I minus 1 modulo mass. Yes. Yeah, awesome. That is also a very good solution. I really liked it. So let me tell you what does he say. Guys, what he says is this. He says that let's consider dp of I as the answer, as the number of ways, that's the last I. And you see this sometimes too, that is for turning t into s. This times 2 is for turning t into s at the end. dp of I is the number of ways, the last one that you have is 1, that is I, the last one that you have is I, and everything till I so far is good. I mean, everything is, nothing is unfulfilled, left unfulfilled. So for each R, you know the L, that from that L to this R, there should be at least 1, 1. So you know that if you are here in I, and the last one that you had was before this L, that's a bad case. So your last one should become after that L. So what you say is that in your DPs that you have that, okay, how many ways you have so that your last one is in here, as long as, I mean, you have a pointer that as long as your pointer is before this position, that you know that your last one should be here, you will remove those DPs that your last one is here, your last one is here, your last one is here, you will remove those from your DP, and you will be left with the DPs that the last one will be in this range. And at the end, DP of I will be sum of those DPs. Because the last one can be in anywhere in this range, and then if the next one is going to be here, the previous one should be in there. So this way, at the end, the sum is going to be the sum of all your DPs, and then the answer can be calculated based on that. I hope that this is clear too. I mean, let me send you the link to the solution as well. This is the solution. That I liked it, really. Let me. Is it clear? If it's clear, let's let me quickly mention. I mean, I'm afraid that we can derive around, but then we can probably not talk about problem D. I would appreciate it if we can quickly talk about problem D as well. But let me very quickly go over it again. Maybe it helps. I'm sorry if it's very quick. I'm really sorry. I just want to make sure that we can get to problem D as well. So dp of I is basically the answer if the last one that you have is at position I. And you know that you have some conditions that force you that if your last one is at position I, you have some condition over that, okay, where the previous I should be, one should be. The previous one cannot be somewhere before someplace because otherwise one of your ranges will lie completely between these two ones. And because it lies completely between these two ones, your whole solution, I mean, that will left unsatisfied. So you always have a condition that, okay, if this is your last one, the previous last one that you have, where it is. So you know that the previous last one that you have should be in some range in here. So you just need to keep the sum of the DPs in here. In a range, you should keep the sum of the DPs. For that, one idea is that, okay, let's use segment tree. But that's not the best idea. Instead, you can either use prefix sums or you can just two-pointer as long as these ones are going to go out of the range that you're looking for. Remove them and move them forward. I mean, remove them from your sum. And then in here, you will be left with the DPs that are valid and the next one can be in here. And then that DP is going to be the sum of them. I mean, that's a very quick recap of that. Are your roadmaps are free or paid? Guys, everything on RepoVibe are free. So there's nothing paid there. Because if it was paid, then it was not amazing. You know, do you agree? Do you agree that if it was paid, it was not amazing? Because people could not use that. So Yes, all the roadmaps and everything else, the roadmap, the compiler, the boot camps, the contests, definitely. And the problems, guys, today problems are going to be updated. So today for all the levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, we're going to add new problems. On each Friday, problems are going to be updated. I have to add a countdown there too. And the teams, if you want to build and learn with Repo, definitely join our teams. And guys, as you know, having being in teams is gonna be super helpful for you guys. I've said it many times in live streams. I say it again because maybe some new people are watching right now. You know that one of the main issues that people have to learn competitive programming and Olympiads is that they want to learn it alone and they don't have like-minded people around them to study with and learn with. This is to resolve that issue. This is to resolve that let people find like-minded people that they can learn with each other. In here, you can either create your team and say, okay, I want to learn binary search. I want to participate in virtual contests. I want to learn segment tree. And define its level. And if you want it to be open for everyone join you, or it would be request-based, you can say that here. And you can put a Discord link. And they say others can join your team. You can join other people's teams as well. And then together you can learn these things. And this is a way to let you guys meet with each other and start learning with each other. I believe that this can be super, super helpful if used right. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys to use this. Because that can be actually super, super helpful. I should also have a sort based on the number of people as well, because I see that some of them are inactive. I mean, for example, this has one member. This has one, this is duplicate and has one member. I think we should remove some of them. So anyway, so this is for learning together, and I believe that it's really super helpful. So I really urge you to create your team there or join other teams, because you see that everything is different when you learn together. Sure. I'm not getting enough time for the roadmap. Uh, Are you still working on that? Because I think we talked about. Maybe we should talk again. I mean, I thought that we talked about it, but maybe we didn't. Let's talk about it again. Can you show hack? Yes, I can quickly show hack as well. Let's see. You can come to standings, and this is open hacking phase. So you can go and open one of the solutions, for example, this one, and you can see the solution here. And then you can say that hack it. And then when you want to hack it, you have to find a test case that this problem will fail on that test. So you have to come up with the test case that this problem will fail with that. And if you can give that, then I mean this problem will turn into wrong answer, and maybe you get some. I mean, at least previously in Codeforces contest, there was rooms, and you could hack other people's solutions, and you could get plus 100. That was interesting. But yeah, I mean, this is how you can hack actually. Let's talk about it, Parth, on Discord. Can you talk to Mike about improving anti-cheat and fair play features? Okay, let me tell you about the feature that I was telling you. I mean, I should know your opinion about it. Uh, so the idea that I had for contests was that actually, first of all, if I show you my local host, it's a bit different. I mean, previously it was like this, the editor, but now it's like, I don't know if it's run or not right now. Yeah, let me make it dark. Now it's like this. I mean, you can open it and it will come here in the editor. I can remove the submit button so that you cannot submit file in the contest. You can only write your code in the editor, and and in this editor we will disable copy and paste. You cannot copy and paste anything in the editor. You should just write all the code. And copy and paste is disabled in the editor. This way, you make sure that all the code that you write is typed by the keyboard. I mean, there's no way that you can write anything in here other than using keyboard. You can simply disable the copy paste feature and anything else, and you should write everything with keyboard. This way, it will control cheating. Still, there might be things that people might want to do, and it would not make impossible, but a lot of cheatings would be stopped this way. This was an idea that I had, but if we want to do that, we should really work on it because it would be huge for us. Because everyone wants to run things on our servers, and it might be a huge load that might end up problematic. So if we want to do this, we should really work to do it well. Otherwise, everything will go down. So I wanted to know your opinion, how you feel about it. To be honest, it's not in the yeah. I mean, Codeforces is classic. It has its own value, and it's a different style. So how do you feel about this idea? No more guidance video for beginners? Yeah, sure, we will. We will. I mean, and we have these roadmaps as well, so we can have those too. Uh so how do you feel about this idea? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let's talk about it very fast, and then we're gonna talk about the problem D as well, and probably problem D is gonna be the last problem that we're gonna talk about. So, what is your idea? Include what LeetCode uses in its contest. What does LeetCode use in its contest? And guys, templates, I mean, you can have your own templates in the contest. That's always something that you can have. You can have your own templates in the contest, and your template will be loaded automatically. So you can, in advance, before the contest, write your own template and save it. And then whenever you open each problem, your template will be loaded. So template will be there. And copy paste is enabled before the contest, but during the contest, copy paste will be completely disabled. Do you think it's a good idea or not? This is the idea that came to my mind yesterday, and I was thinking that because I should consider all the sides of it. For example, one side is that the things that maybe people want to get good use of copy and paste, that we are disabling that too. But uh, on the other hand, also our servers, there would be a load on our servers that would be huge. So we should make sure that our judge won't go down during the contest. That's also something we should think about. So we should consider all the LeetCode records users LeetCode screen always. The point is that what we do, we can actually have the log of how you write. I mean, recording is inefficient. We can see that we can have the logs of how your code changes. Screen, I mean, it's a video and it's inefficient. I mean, what we do is going to be a bit more efficient. When you post the live content public, does it take time to process and hold back? Yeah, I mean, it takes some time to process, I think, to have the better quality. But before that, people can watch it as well with less quality. I mean, it's just YouTube own thing. It would be a before server, yeah. But yeah, we should really think about it. Because if I have a test contest tomorrow, how many of you would participate in that? So that we will check the load on our servers. How do I get this import to RepoVibe extension? You can see the RepoVibe extension on the Telegram channel. It's there. You can just and I explained it exactly how you can add add it in developer mode. You can just download this zip file, and then you can add it in developer mode. And then you can tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is the Codeforces contest, yeah. What do you think about again postponing the contest to the next week, and this weekend we have the test contest? I hate it because we already postponed the contest several times. And it's really, I mean, I was like, at any cost, we should not postpone again. But a postponed contest is better than a failed contest, a contest that the judge goes down. That's why I'm still thinking. So, I mean, basically, we could have contests way before. We could have the contest then. But we postponed to ensure that nothing goes wrong. But yeah. How is what for the extension? The extension is that you can simply submit codes. I mean, it opens your templates, anything, and with one button you can submit the codes. That's all. So okay, let's talk about problem D. Definitely follow the roadmaps. I mean, the roadmaps, I will talk about all the topics that you need to learn. I mean, it still needs a bit more work. I was planning to do it way quicker than what is happening. It was like, okay, maybe if in 2-3 days I can finalize all of them, but it took a lot more time because I realized that it's taking lots of time if you want to do it with really good quality. That's why it's taking more time. But I will definitely work more on that to finalize it and reach a position that you can say that, okay, now you guys can start learning from it. And guys, how do you rate Repo5 so far? From 0 to 10, how do you rate Repo5 so far? Just want to have your opinion and see how you feel. I want to know what is your feeling. These are good scores. Thank you very much. I mean, that's good to hear. There's obviously always room for improvements, but I'm glad that so far you liked it. And if so far you rate it as 10 or 9.5, definitely we add more things, you're gonna rate it as 20 out of 10. That's really good. Yeah, we won't get satisfied with 10 out of 10. Definitely, we want more. But report any submission or accounts. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we will think about that. Okay, sure. So let's talk about the problem D very quickly as well, because I also have to leave soon. And guys, again, if you can please follow us on Instagram. We want to start our live streams, but we need at least 1,000 followers to do this. This is gonna be really something amazing, but we need followers first. And we are at 146 now. We need around 854 more followers on Instagram to be able to start our live streams there. So if you can, please follow us, and also please invite others to follow us so that we can get to that 1,000 as soon as possible, and then start our live streams there too. Usually bottom up is more used. That's great. That's great. Awesome. The best feature came down. Okay, I read that. Salam. Let's talk about problem D. Almost Roman. It says that let's define a value of a string consisting of letters x, v, I as follows. The value of x is 10, the value of v is 5, the value of I is 1, -1, or -1, -1 if the next position contains okay, 1 otherwise. The value of entire string is the sum of the values of all letters in it. That's Roman numbers. You are given a string of x and Okay, and asked Q queries about it. Okay, in the query number I, three integers are provided, the number of available x, v, and I respectively. What is the minimum value of this string that can be obtained if all question marks are replaced with the letters x, y, v, and y, I, so that the number of letters does not exceed the number of available letters of each type? So we want to minimize the number. And we only consider the next position. Okay, so each time we have these limits and we want to see that what is number. Because we maybe don't have time to think about this problem this time, let's quickly, editorial is not out too, so let's quickly just read the submissions of people. What an interesting function name he has. Okay, so he has MPL, okay. He has some dollars at the beginning and ends. He adds that value if s of I is I, s of I is 0. If it's v, s of I is x. And mp of s of I plus 1 greater than. Okay. And then I can say that that's a bit messy to understand. So let's talk about this one, this solution that this guy uses. I go live after the competitions right now and in the boot camps. We have boot camps as well. That's great to hear. That's great. Awesome. So here he defines big as v and x. I is not big. So the score of a character, if it's big, he will return 5. Otherwise, he will consider the next character, and if it was big, he will return either 1 or -1. If it's not big, it's 1, otherwise negative. I'm just thinking about why he returns 5 if it's big. And then in flip, you're okay, and then in flip, he has now a negative score of k minus 1 minus the score of k. S of k is v. Now plus equal to the score of k minus 1 plus the score of k. Add that pushback now. If not of big of s of I, if big of s of I plus 1 base minus minus. That's okay. Base is the base value before those question marks, and if he has a question mark, he will have flip of I, flip of I negative of the score of k minus 1 minus the score of k. Okay. Need equal to Q underscore num minus C of t is supposed to call the L of nit plus need equal to C of. That's a bit weird. I mean, need greater than C of 1 times need minus C. It's a bit weird. I do not completely understand. So if anyone has accepted this problem, you can tell me what your solution as well. At the same time, that's either, and also if you understand it, let me know as well. It's a bit weird to me. I do not uh, feel connected to the code that much. I say, okay, big is obvious what it is. Score is not that obvious because it says that if big of s of pose, return 5 always. That's a bit weird. And then flip. Okay, flip says that how does the score of the previous one and this one change if I turn this one to V instead of what it is? So flip says that, well, how does the score change if I turn it into V? I definitely try not to use any X at all as much as I can. So I will try to turn things into V as much as I can. So he just see that if he flips it into a V, how does it change the score? And then in each position, it will start from the beginning. If it was not big, if the next one was big, base minus minus s base plus plus, else base plus equal to s of I equal to v, 5 otherwise 10. And it always is best to try to use I as much as possible instead of v. Always that's better. So if you are at some I and it's not big and s of I is equal to question mark, we'll flip it. I mean, we'll call flip to see that how much it adds to our answer. We'll set it to V and we see that how much does it add to our answer. And if we have a range of question marks, we always start from, first one to see that's how does this flipping make those ones negative ones. And then we start from the beginning again. Okay, first you see that if the previous one was a 1 and so far is 0, he first tries to make those ones V, and then he tries to make the rest one V, and then he will sort all of them, that how much each of them add to the answer. And he will calculate the prefix sum over it, and each time when he gets something, some 3 values, answer will be initially the base. And then if C of 2 equal to Q, less than Q now. C of 2 is the number of ones that we have. If the number of ones that we have is less than the number of elements that we can have, in that case, we have to add something to the base. We will see that how many non-ones do we have, and then we say that, okay, that prefix of non-ones should be added. Okay, now I realize the answer. So if basically he tries to see all the question marks, in short, the solution is this. He tries to see the question marks, the place of the question marks, and he will try to understand for each of these question marks, how much does it add to the answer if I pick this question mark specifically? I mean, if I replace this question mark with a V or an X. For now, we just ignore X. And because as much as we can, we try to not to use X. And the only thing is that if I add some X, if I replace some V with X, that's an additional +5 that I will consider at the end. For now, I just work with V's. And then I say that just consider these question marks, and he will see that each of them, if I turn each of them to V, how much does it add to my answer? And he will sort them by the effect that they have in a vector named at. And when he gets some answer, he will see that how many ones does he have. If it was as much as needed, then he will put all of them to be 1. Otherwise, he will see that how many should be V or X's, and he will see that how much does it add to the answer. And based on that, he will update the answer at the NCL's ends. That's the solution in short. Yeah, they are, this is problem D. Yeah, so, yeah, yes, yeah, probably. The code was a bit hard to understand. But I hope that you realize the big picture of the solution. Let me know if it was very... It definitely is not very clear because it was just a big picture. Just that whole idea was that how many question marks do you have? The best, guys, always greedily is to put all of them to be 1. That's always the best. But if we cannot, we will see that, okay, if we put V at some place, how much does it add to our answer? Then we can keep the effect of each of the places and then sort them. And then definitely we will always tweak a prefix of them. There. Yeah. And problem E was more beautiful as well. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed the live stream so far. And again, guys, because of this situation that started in on Codeforces, as I said, there is a guy that is trying to use 100 multiple accounts to downvote me. If in case, only in case that it helps you, what I'm giving you, please support us with upvoting Codeforces blog post only if it supports us, so that at least we can cancel this toxic situation. And I will definitely, on the other hand, will take to Mike and see that what is the situation. Maybe he can at least add a feature that checks the IP of the users when they constantly go to fake accounts and maybe do something about it. Sure. So guys, see you the next time. Have a good one.